Okay, so good evening. Good evening. My name is Natasha Michelle, and I'm going to be hosting you for the coffee meeting today that we are having. The reason why I said coffee is because it's really, really cold. I know we're in August, but for me, it's still a little bit cold. So if you're, wherever you are, I hope that you have a coffee and, you're staying warm. I actually have a blanket on me right now so that we can be able to be comfortable as we talk about the business opportunity that I'm going to share with you tonight. So from that, everyone that is here basically inquired to say, I'd love to know what it is that you guys do. I'm interested in building a global business with the low startup capital. I'm interested in, to find out more information, basically, right? So that is what I'm going to be giving you today. So I'm a biologist and a biochemist by profession, working in the medical devices sector, where I'm a manager in the medical devices sector for electrophysiology, which is heart devices. I'm also a medical devices auditor as well. But I chose to be an entrepreneur. Why did I choose to be an entrepreneur as well? So I am working my 9 to 5. I was at work today. For anyone that spoke to me, I was at work when I spoke to you. But I decided and I realized that a 9 to 5 is not easy, and it's not enough. A lot of people, I was talking to someone today that was saying to me, you know what, I got paid yesterday and already today I do not have money. And, that is a very painful realization, which is where I found myself at, 3 years ago. And I decided to say, you know what, I need to change, I need something to change. And I started researching a lot about businesses and what to invest in. But obviously, I didn't want to get into a second job, which was the option at the time. But I was also looking at the fact that I'm already, tired from my current job. I was even telling someone to say on Friday, for example, I started work at 8 like everybody else, but somehow I ended up finishing Saturday at 3 a.m., right? So getting a second job would definitely not be an option because of that. So somehow I needed to also supplement my income. And one of the things, when you go for family meetings and they're like, yeah, no, telling their children to say you need to study hard. And Natasha was always the best in school. She then got to do this and she studied this. She works for a big company. But if it doesn't translate to what is in your pocket, so most of us, sometimes you might be here and just saying, you know what, I'm employed, but the money that I make is not enough. Or maybe you're actually not employed, or maybe you are doing another business, but you want to make extra. So I believe extra is always important. For me, my favorite verse in the Bible, I'm a Christian, so that's why I talked about the Bible a little bit, because it's our way of living. But one of my favorite, scriptures is the fact that, we talk about how God owns cattle upon 1,000 hills. We talk about how, he says, if you're a child of God, you never have to borrow from anyone. You're going to be a lender and all of that. And I found myself always borrowing because I would get paid on the 25th. By the 1st, I don't have money. Literally, I'm running out. That means by the 7th, I don't have money for transport and all of that. And I constantly had to borrow. Then I pay back when I get paid. But that means that in 2 weeks after that, I'm already borrowing again. So I was always in that shortfall. And I felt like, it was not a good place to be. And sometimes, you find that people actually treat you a little bit differently because they feel like, every time I receive a phone call from Natasha, I'm going to talk about myself because that was my situation. Every time I get a phone call from Natasha, it's because she wants to borrow money. And I started so many other businesses before and I failed, right? And I failed not because I wasn't working hard or I wasn't inspired, but to be honest, business is just not easy. That's number one. Secondly, if you don't have a proper guideline of what you're going to follow, who's supporting you, and how you are going to grow your business and have a proper guidance. That's why a lot of business owners have got mentors. So if you don't have that, you're bound to struggle somewhere somehow. So that is what happened with me. And to be honest, I did not have enough capital, right? Because when you start a business, you need to be prepared to know that you're not going to make any profit for at least 3 years, right? 3 years for you to create brand awareness, for people to trust your brand, for people to trust you, for you to make sure that you're creating your pricing and that everything that you're doing is cost effective and will eventually give you profit. And at some point, maybe you might need to employ someone and all of those things. So I had to come to a realization that I had so many big ideas, but those I could never finance those big ideas. It was really not realistic. And I come from a very poor background where I knew that there is no money that is coming. There's no one that is going to say, you know what, here's, a bit of some handout that you can be able to use, and there was nothing that I could put in as collateral for me to even get a loan. And I mean, there's no bank also that would give you a loan without, surety that you're going to be able to be profitable as well, especially looking at the ideas that I had. So at that particular time, while I was going through that, I was actually going through interviews for other jobs because a part of me felt like, I'm just going to get a better job and all of that. I did eventually get a better job, but still within that better job, I still found myself in the same rat race, right? So I realized that one faithful day I was my Uber that I had requested an Uber for me to go and find a black trousers and a white shirt because that's what most of us wear for interviews. Well, at that time, I don't know. I'm a little bit old school. That is what I wear. So my Uber was late, and then I got to see a group of ladies that were together, and they looked good. They looked really organized. They were happy. They didn't look like they were complaining about life or men or anything of that nature, which is something that I really liked. And I picked it up. I asked the waiter that was close to me, and I'm like, what do these people do? And he said, I don't know what it is that they do. They've got money and they travel a lot. So luckily, someone then approached me, and I asked them to say, what is it that you do? And that's how I got to know about the business. So you are here tonight. I want you to know that you are not here by chance. The same way I got to bump into a business that I didn't even know about. And at that time, I was really praying for an opportunity, but I wasn't really praying for an opportunity packaged in what I'm going to tell you. But somewhere, somehow, that is where actually my answer was. So I don't know what it is that you're looking for. I don't know what it is that you want for yourself. I hope that today you are going to find, maybe an answer or something from whatever it is that I'm going to show you today that is going to help you. And 3 years, down the line, I now have business in over 6 countries in East Africa, Southern Africa, and first world countries. The countries that I'm talking about, including countries like France, Namibia, Zambia, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, South Africa, and Germany and the UK, right? And this is something that I had no intentions of, zero intentions of. But somewhere, within the business and being part of a business community called Unstoppable Global, we are in over 15 countries. It gave me that opportunity. So as long as you're someone that is saying, you know what, I want to make extra income, I want to work hard, I am willing to put in the effort, even if it's just 30 minutes a day or whatever that I have for me to get more, then this is what I'm going to be sharing with you with. So our mission is to show, coach, and support people from all backgrounds to start and build businesses from scratch, starting with a low startup capital. Why a low startup capital? We decided to start this community because, a lot of people will say, I want to change my story. But to be honest, there's no one that is going to be able to come and say, let me do this, which is the reason why we started our community, where we're helping each other, we're supporting each other, we share what is working. We've got trainings every, this week we had someone from an international training from the UK on Monday. On Friday, we've got someone that is training us from Tanzania. Then in September, there's another lady from UK that is going to be trained. All these trainings are free. So it's a business community that is built to also help you grow. As much as, yes, you've just started your business, we are doing the same business together, but also to cultivate your growth. So the aim is to help people pay off debts, earn their first global trip, eventually also to learn as well, develop a lot of personal development, also to have as long as you have a great work ethic and also some positive attitude, then you can be able to achieve our ultimate goal is total financial freedom, which means that this is someone that is not in debt, someone that is not living, surviving hand to mouth, and someone that is able to afford a comfortable lifestyle. That is what we define financial freedom as. So once again, my name is Natasha Michelle, and I'm a coach in Unstoppable Business Community. And these are the countries that we are in and counting. And I really hope that, what I want you to focus on now that I've told you about myself, what it is about myself and why I'm talking to you today, I want you to then come back to yourself to say, what is it that matters most to me? Why did I respond to the ad that I saw? Why do I want extra income? What would extra income do for me? So I know a lot of people just say, I just want an extra 200 US dollars. I want an extra 3,000. That is exactly what I also wanted at the beginning. But I want you to really ask yourself to say, what would that extra mean for me on a monthly basis? So if, for example, if I can ask to say, what would an extra I will use 7,000 because I mean, at least minimum 7,000 rands, which is about 500 US dollars. What would that actually 400 US dollars? What would that do for you? Right? So an extra 400 could be maybe clearing off some debts. It could be paying, a portion of the school fees. It could be also saving, for you to maybe take your family somewhere. It could also be mean to say that, what, there's someone that said to me, I just want to be able to um, get a different type of food, for my family, for me to put different things on the table and be able to present, a different lifestyle for my family. So whatever it is, what is it that matters most to you? So if you're comfortable, you can be communicating with me in the chat so that I'm sure that you can hear me. And that is what I want you to focus on, because that is what is going to define how you even do your business. So yes, the business I'm going to tell you about today is one business, but you are all going to do it differently. Depending with, should you decide to be part of the business, you'll find yourself doing it differently. You might find yourself choosing a certain path for yourself, because we've got different characteristics. We all operate differently. We all have different availability. Someone maybe is busy and you have 1 hour per day. Someone says, I actually have a lot of time and I can do so much with my time. So, and it also depends. Someone that is saying, I want to build, and someone that is saying, I want to purchase a car, or someone saying, I've got a debt for 50 US dollars. The energy that would be required from those three different people is different, right? So that's the reason why I want you to really personalize, to say, what is it that you want? So ask yourself to say, 5 to 10 years from now, what do I want my family to look like? What do I want my health to look like? If you're someone that has children and you're here, I want you to put 1 in the chat. You can put number 1 in the chat. If you're someone that says, I have a child or I have children, what do you want your health to look like? What do you want your monthly and annual income to look like? What do you want your savings to look like? Right? I can see patients saying, I've got a child. And what do you want your investments to also look like? We need to have investments. We need to have savings. These are things that we don't talk about every day, because sometimes, we get so comfortable in saying, the Lord will provide, which is very true. But it's the also same word that says that he will bless the works of your hands. You're not supposed to be worrying about where your next meal is going to come from. You're not supposed to be worrying about how you're going to pay rent next month. You're not supposed to be worried about what it is that you're going to wear, right? And this is something that we need to look at and understand, acknowledge where you are, but also acknowledge where you want to be, right? So what do you want? What experiences do you want for yourself, for your family? There's a lady called Mariana from Namibia, and she said, one of the things that I really want is to have an international trip with my mother, because she struggled so much for me to become a nurse. And she did manage to do that. And she also had a lot of debts, that accumulated over the years, through the school system and everything that she was doing. Unfortunately, life happens. And sometimes it's not to say you're even living, above your means, but there's certain needs that force you also to say, what, you need to go and borrow somewhere else for you to be able to cover. Because, for example, hospital bills, there's nothing that you can do. You just have to cover that. So those are some of the things that you also need to ask yourself. What good experiences as well do you want to have? And are you someone that would say, I would also want to impact other people's lives, which is something that I have really decided for myself, that I am the same way that I've seen my life changing. I want to see other people's lives changing. That is the reason why I'm having this meeting with you today. So what makes the difference between the life that you currently have to the life that you want to have? It is choices. It is not money. It is not connections, but it's choices. Choices come from your mindset. Where is your mind? Because most of the time, whatever your mind sees and imagines and sees as realistic, and that is what you then attain for yourself, right? So you find that sometimes someone can say, what, for me, I just want something small, and then you will actually achieve that. But the more you see, the more you aim for to achieve more for yourself as well. So your choices are the most important thing. Choices are the most important thing. So we decided to partner with a company called Forever Living. I have known Forever for my whole life. I grew up in Bulawayo, and we used to drink the aloe vera when it was in a very ugly yellow bottle. I was a child then, and we didn't have medical aid. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys understand that. We didn't have medical aid. My mom used to sell tomatoes on the street. and at the shops, and we didn't have medical aid. So every time I would eat junk food or things, then my mother always say, you need to drink aloe vera because you decided that, you're going to eat whatever. So for me, it was like a punishment. So when I got to know about the business, I judged the business because I was like, I don't know anyone that I saw with that yellow bottle that was rich. But I didn't understand the numbers of the business at that particular time. So yes, we decided to partner with Forever Living. I'll explain why. So Unstoppable Global partnered with Forever Living for us to be able to have a product. Because remember, in business, you're either providing a service or you're providing a product. A service is, for example, like a physiotherapist or a psychologist, some even a medical doctor. They have to be there. They have to conduct, even if it's a surgeon, they have to be there to conduct the surgery in order to get paid, right? Same thing. If you have a job, for example, you need to show up for you to be able to get paid. If you actually take leave, that is more than the required number of days that you've been allocated, that means it's unpaid, which means you're exchanging time for money, which is why you have to show up at 8, you leave at 5 every single day, because you are exchanging money for time. So we decided that a product-based business is much more beneficial in this case. Why is it beneficial? I'll use KFC as an example. The owner of KFC is not in Zimbabwe, right? They decided to start in the USA. But now we've got KFC in the entire Southern Africa. So think about the distance that, that recipe has managed to actually travel. All they needed was a product. So a product is able to move despite you being, not being present, which is why this business is what makes it so successful. So you'll find that, for example, I'm based in Johannesburg. I saw someone saying I'm based in Harare, and I'm based in Johannesburg. And today I made a sale in Gweru, one sale in Gweru, and one sale in Bulawayo, right? I'm not even there physically. But because it's a product business, you are able to do that. I didn't even leave my job for me to be able to do that. So this is why when you start the business, you're not going to be employed by Forever or Unstoppable Global. You are going to be a business owner registered under the Forever Living system, right? Why do we do that? So the reason why we do that, a lot of people do this for financial benefits, for personal development, or flexibility, the fact that you're able to do this business anytime you want, and because the products also are of high quality. We grew up knowing the fact that the products work. Everyone knows that. Even those that say, you know what, I'm growing aloe vera at the back of my yard, it's because they know it works, right? But unfortunately, obviously, there's different variations, what we call species. Every plant has different species. The same way, even as human beings, we've had to evolve, right? We've all studied that evolution from Zinjanthropus and all of that as Homo sapiens to the human beings that we are today. There's a certain level of evolution that happens with us. That's the same thing that happens with plants. So there's a scientific study that has to go into it for you to be able to understand which particular species of aloe is going to have the highest benefits and the most safe for human consumption and for application on their skin. So this is what Forever has managed to do for us. So now everyone that is here has highlighted that they are in Southern Africa, besides Josie that I can see from France, right? Forever is in over 140 countries. What does this mean for you? I will explain to you the way I understand it. Like I said, when we grew up, we used to sell tomatoes on the street. Christmas time was the best because people buy more, because they're cooking more. Everybody is at home, right? But one thing that we knew is that if the Ndlovu family comes and buys tomatoes today, are they going to come tomorrow and buy again? No, they're not, because they have enough, right? So this means that if you serve the small community that is around you, all of them, if they're really so supportive, all of them, that means you might not have any money coming in tomorrow, right? So now, because Forever is in over 140 countries, and you then say, you know what, I'm myself as Plaxidus, I can be able to grow the business into over 140 countries. You are able to say, you know what, I know people that are in the UK, or I'm in social. I mean, most of us have actually seen some Facebook groups, for example, that talk about Zimbabweans in the UK, Zimbabweans in the US, South Africans in Germany, Namibians in Kenya. all those people, all those groups that you're able to be in. The moment you advertise your business on social media, it doesn't matter where a person is located. You are able to serve them in this particular business. And I'm going to show you how you can do that, right? So also because it's a privately owned company that is headquartered in the USA, everything that you're going to do is going to be in US dollars in your system. There's a business system that you're going to have access to. Then it converts to your local currency. So the difference is that for people that are in Zimbabwe, because you're using US dollars, you're actually required to have a USD Visa account for your business. You are going to be able to actually see you get US dollars for US dollars. For every other country, for South Africa, for example, it comes in US dollars, then your bank converts it to rands, or converts it to euros in the case of France, or converts it to a different currency depending with where you're located. But the most important thing for you today is to understand that me as Patience today, I haven't started my business yet. If I start my business tomorrow, that is I think it's the 21st of August, if I'm not mistaken, tomorrow. Okay, it's the 20th, right? Tomorrow, the 20th of August. In 24 hours, I am activated to do business in over 140 countries. This is every business dream, right? Because it's as good as you need to think about it as franchising, right? That means you are able, and the reason why, how you are enabled to do this is because Forever's system actually allows you, there's a website that you're able to create that is going to be linked to your name that you just send to someone. You send them a link, they add whatever they want into their cart, and then they can be able to purchase from you. So we specialize in health products, right? Health and personal care. So what is the most important thing if you are in a product business? The quality of your product. We all know that there are certain shops we used to buy clothes from until someone told you to say their clothes don't last. You just wash it twice and then the next thing is already tearing apart, or the color comes out and all of that. Then everybody stops buying from there, right? So it's very important to associate yourself with the highest quality possible. And this is what Forever has done for us. I mean, their products are 100% organic, ALU certified, halal certified. They're also part of the Direct Selling Association. And also there's also kosher certified. There's so many certifications that it has. Outside of all of this, even if we didn't know this, the business has been around for over 45 years. There's no business that lasts that long if it is a fly-by-night business. Why is this important? You don't want to invest your time into a business that is not going to be there tomorrow. And this is also very important because it's a willable business. Right? So you are able to document that I've got a business with Forever Living. This is my business owner number, and I want to will it to so and so, and you attach their legal documents. Should anything happen to me, God forbid, should anything happen to you, then they're able to take over that business. We've had so many scenarios, especially during COVID. A lot of the people, unfortunately, some people lost their lives. And in particular, there's a lady that actually left her business to her husband. Her husband he's really living large right now with the kids through the business that his wife started. He just continued where she left off. So if you're looking for something that you're also able to leave for the next person, this is something that you're able to do. And this is something that is very close to my heart, because for me personally, my mother passed away when I was 9 years old. By the time we came back from the funeral, from the cemetery, everything was gone, because people, were saying, these are my sister's things, this is my aunt's thing, I want to take this, I want to take that. They didn't even care that there's someone that is part of this human being that you guys have buried, that is going to stay behind. But this is something that you are able to leave for the next person. So sometimes, yes, we accumulate, for example, certificates. We are all teachers, we are doctors, we are accountants, we are bookkeepers. You are a farmer, you've got certain skills that you have, but those skills and certificates cannot be handed down to someone else. You can't hand them down. And one of the things that I was, for example, looking at is the fact that should anything happen to me right now, my family would only get about 100,000 rands. That's about less than 5,000 US dollars. How long is that going to last them? Imagine, for example, it doesn't work. So a lot of people talk to me about, scams and all of that. And I will confidently say, the whole system of being told to say, go to school, be the best employee, do this. Yes, it's good because it gives you a stable, guaranteed income, but it's also a trap where you can wake up where you're now 70 years old, you don't have a house, you don't have anything. Sometimes maybe you even only manage to get one property your whole life, and you've got maybe 3 kids. What is supposed to happen with that? So we really need to really think about it out of the box to say, what is it that I'm doing now that is going to make my life different? So we've got too many products in Forever, a lot of products, right? But I'm going to talk to you about this particular product because it's my favorite. And the reason why I'm talking about it a lot is also because most of the people that are on this call for France and Zimbabwe, this is the most wanted product, right? Personally, I will show you what actually this product has managed to do for me from Zimbabwe, right? So now the product is called Forever Marine Collagen. It is a hydrolyzed collagen. Why is this special? There's so many collagens that we have, right? But this is a specific, hydrolyzed collagen that makes sure that it maintains the protein nature of the element, which is collagen. So everybody knows that after the age of 25, you start aging, you start showing fine lines, your skin gets loose and all of that. And then now you're beginning to look older. This is where people say, I know, we can see that, this is a grown-up person. That's when people also start referring to you as auntie. When kids start referring to you like that, then you know that the time has come, right? But anyway, it's a natural process for everyone. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You can only supplement collagen or accumulate it from eating things like raw fish, especially, or just eating some fish that is not overcooked, and salmon and things like tuna and all of that. But how often do we eat things like that, like fish? For me personally, I think this year we've only cooked fish in my house twice, right? So obviously that means I'm not getting enough collagen, right? So this is where you find that sometimes we meet a lot of people and we say, this person doesn't look like they're aging. What is it that they're doing? They are supplementing. Same thing as what happens with our bones, right? For you to make sure that you protect the synovial liquid that is in between your joints, you have to supplement. You have to make sure that you're supplementing calcium, so that you don't get to a point where you now have things like arthritis and all of that. So everybody is very aware of their health, but this is just one of the many products that we have. The other number one product that people know about is the aloe bottle that I told you about, because it cleans your digestive system. So everybody knows now that everything starts in your gut. So for you to be able to fix even just your skin, you need to start with your gut, remove all the toxins. If you want to lose weight, first remove the toxins. If you want, because that way you're able to actually absorb the nutrients from the good food that you're taking. Let's say you're eating a balanced diet, but you want to make your body better, right? So another thing why I'm also very passionate about health in this case is because in my profession, I mean, we work with hospitals, we work with sick people, people that are getting operations and surgeries every single day. And one of the most common things is ignored pain, ignored situations where someone says, I've got a headache, I'll just leave it. Kanti, it's actually a tumor that is growing in you that you're ignoring, right? And then at the time that you then say, let me go to the hospital, at that particular time, there's nothing else that can help you besides being operated. We look at your medical aid. Your medical aid is not able to actually cover all those costs. So a lot of people now, because of COVID, that made it also apparent that if you don't look after your health, you are going to find yourself on the short end of everything, because if you're not looking after yourself, should any virus come, you're going to be the first person that will be attacked by it. So people are very conscious about their health. People are very conscious about their skin. So this is one of the products that I decided to share with you today out of the many products. So we are going to use Forever Marine Collagen as an example, right? So now let's say you say, what, Natasha, I've got 30 minutes a day, and I think I can talk to, I don't know, I can advertise. Actually, I'm not even going to talk about talking to people. I can advertise, on Facebook Market. How many of us have got Facebook? How many of us have got Facebook you can put a 2 if you have Facebook in the chat. How many of us have Facebook? You can decide to say, I want to advertise on my WhatsApp status. I'm going to advertise on my Facebook. I'm going to advertise on Instagram. I've got TikTok, whatever, because the amount of time that you spend, even on social media, you're making money for Facebook and an individual, whoever's content that you're looking at, you're making money for them. So I want you to really look at that screen time and understand that this is something that you're able to do. Personally, I do my business while I'm lying down on the couch and I'm watching TV, but I'm actually advertising my products. That is how I make my money, and I'm going to show you how you can also do the same. So if you decide to say I want to retail one collagen in South Africa, that's a profit of about 535. This is entry level profits for someone that says I'm starting the business. You're new in the business, right? So all of you guys have Facebook that I'm seeing here. That means you have an opportunity to use social media to your advantage, right? So if you decide to say, okay, I want to have a target that per month I'm going to retail at least 10 collagens, that means you're on a profit margin of 350 US dollars, right? And this is a lot, a lot of money, right? And then if you decide, and the reason why I'm saying it's a lot is because I'm assuming to say wherever you're working right now, maybe you're getting paid 500 US dollars or 1,000. Let's work with 1,000. Maybe you're one of those people paid well. You're making 1,000 US dollars and plus another 350. That means you're on 1.350. That 350 can buy clothes for yourself. You can put savings. If you decide to say that I've got a lot of money right now, but I'm going to save that 350, then that means in 10 months you've got over, 3,500 that you've set aside, that you're able to do something with it, right? So, or you might say, you know what, I actually do not have an income right now. That means this income can really do a lot, right? But of course, I'm not saying that the maximum that you can do is 10. Personally, my average per month is 17 collagens, right? 17 plus. At this particular month now, for the month of August, I'm actually going for 30, right? So now, if you decide to say, actually, I want to also then make it into skincare packs for people that are over the age of 30, there's products that you can put together that give you a profit of 600 for 10 packs. If you say, okay, I've got a lot of people that I want to talk to, or I want to specialize in weight loss. I've just added weight loss here so that you can take a look at it. That's over 620 US dollars for 10 weight loss boxes profit, net profit, right? And the reason why I've added weight loss here is because we always see hashtag body transformation on our social media pages. All of us, we always see that a lot of people that are going to Turkey, a lot of people that are going for lipo, a lot of people that are going for tummy tuck, a lot of people that are trying to work out, a lot of people that are struggling to lose weight, right? But not everyone can afford those options, right? That means you have an option that people are able to take that is healthy, and it's not just to say actually a box of products. It's a guide, a 9-day program that you're going to follow. It guides you for from the start of your day to the end of your day on what you're going to take, how you're going to move, the free foods that you're going to take, how exactly you're going to conduct yourself for 9 days, and it restarts your digestive system, balances up your hormones, and there's so much that it comes with. So that means you are guaranteed to know that the instructions that are going to be there. There's even an app that a person can download to follow the instructions, as well as, and to keep them encouraged. But we also have a separate group that is called Wellness 360 for people like that, people that are saying, what, I want to, like, if you decide to say that I've got a community of people that I want to work with that want to lose weight, or I want to specialize on that, we will support you and tell you how to do it, right? So we've already looked at this. So I already told you that my target is normally 17 boxes to 20 boxes, and that means you're making a profit of about 720 US dollars. That's at entry level. I have grown my business to manager level. That means I make way a little bit more than that. And the goal is to, grow everyone to that 48% profit. At entry level, you're making about 30% profit. These margins are calculated at 30% profit, which is still a lot, because a lot of businesses that people start, it's not so easy for someone to get to 30%. So if you're asking yourself to say, but do the products work? Right, here are some reviews that I've received. For example, I'm going to go from the left. The first person was saying, I now have a wonderful skin. My daughter, that collagen is so wonderful, and I've finished my box on the 20th. I want to buy another one from Harare. There's the next person. Her name was Brenda, and she was saying, I look 5 years now, 5 years younger. And we always celebrate and we laugh together about it, because it's a journey that I'm on myself, that I decided to take collagen. And, I saw how it was working for me. It's not the first collagen that I've taken actually, but this is the first collagen that I've actually got to see a huge drastic difference from. Right. And then the next person is Memory. She's actually in her 60s. And she said, I've in 1 week, I'm getting results. I wish I knew it earlier. I wish I knew about the product earlier. I'm really grateful. The last person, unfortunately, I couldn't put more than this because there are quite many and I just needed to have one slide. There's the last person was Teresa on my slides that says, I'm loving it. I'm looking younger. So many comments from everyone. So these are some of the things that we will share with you, because obviously if you decide to start your business tomorrow, you are not going to have your own personal reviews that you've received from your own people because you are starting, but you still need reviews so that people can know that your products are working, and people ask for that all the time. So we will share with you marketing materials. There's videos of myself taking collagen and my journey and all of that we are able to share with you. So how can you get started with your business, right? Let's say now you're saying, okay, Natasha, I've heard about it. I've heard about the profit margins and how do I get started? So there's two options, right? The first option is that you can start with a minimum of about $240 for your first stock. There's no joining fee, by the way. You're not going to give Natasha or anyone else money for anything. We don't take your money. We don't charge you anything. There's no money for anything. The money that you start with is for your stock, because remember, you're starting your business. You need to have the products for you to be able to move to the next person, which is your customer. So the money that you start with, if you are starting with $240, you are going to get stock worth $240, and that is actually going to then make you then get your profit from that. And then if you're going to say that I'm going to start with a full stock pack, which is of $400, so there's this box that I've put here called the Start Your Journey box. It has all the 25 products that are listed on the right bottom corner, which is the aloe vera drinks that are good for your digestive health. We've got berry nectar for women's health. We've got tooth gels for people that have bad breath and dental issues. There's also things like aloe jelly, which is a mask that you can use, or it can also help with burns. It basically repairs skin, right? Then we have what we call the deodorant for people that have dark underarms, or people that are not able to use any other roll-ons that are in the market because of reactions. Then they can be able to use your deodorant. We also have aloe heat for people that have joint pains, people like nurses or people that stand all day and then they end up feeling pain because they've been putting so much pressure on their joints. That is the aloe heat lotion that will be in there. There's also avocado soap. It's an affordable soap for people to just wash their face with, for people like myself that react easily. So I'm one person that I can't use anything else that is not organic because I get acne immediately. So also because of that, I can't put makeup too frequently. If I'm to put makeup, it can only be maybe once every 2 weeks, but not I can't do anything more than that because I react. So people like that means they're going to be able to be using your avocado soap. Then there's also supplements for kids that struggle with appetite. That is what they're going to get. Then there's also Arctic Sea. Arctic Sea is very good for brain development and neural connections as well in your body, neurological effects in your body. So from that, Arctic Sea is taken by kids and adults. So nowadays, a lot of parents are actually using Arctic Sea to help their kids. For kids that have autism or slow learners, that are failing to retain information, they give them Arctic Sea in plain yogurt, or adults can just drink it as is, as a full dosage. For kids, obviously, it's half of that. Then you also have things like extras that are in the aloe lips. You also get a literature pack about the business and how to grow that. So you can decide to say that I want the stock for 240, which is going to be half of that pack, or you can decide to say I want the full box, which is going to be $440, and or you can say, you know what, I want half of the Start Your Journey box and I want half of the collagen that you spoke about, or I want weight loss products, or I want men's health, or I want, whatever you can, it's a conversation that we're able to have because we want the business to be tailor-made to you. Right. And the other thing that you need, let's say now you're saying, okay, I have the money, or I'm looking for my money. Personally, when I started, I didn't have the money. I already told you I didn't have money for transport, so there was no way I was going to have money for the business. I did not have money for the business. It was a lot for me. And when I started, it might not be for you guys because maybe you're rich and all of that. I wasn't rich at the moment at that time. So I had to borrow the money. And the people that I even borrowed the money, I didn't tell them it was to start a business because they would have said another one, you want to waste our money. But I knew that this was going to be the last time. And indeed it was. But I managed to actually kick off my business. But what I can say is that as long as you are serious and you know what you want for yourself, you can be able to achieve. And this is something that is it's a very easy business. It's doable. It just needs your effort. You need to put in the effort. You need to show up for the trainings because that is how that will help you to grow fast. So now that you say you have your money, what is it, what else do you need? So the second thing is that you're going to submit a copy of your ID or your passport. There's a form that we're going to fill in together, or whoever invited you, you fill in the form together. The form is to just say we're not going to be walking around claiming that we're curing cancer or we're curing anything, because these are food supplements. They do not replace pharmaceuticals. They are a support to the pharmaceuticals, right? So the next thing that you're going to need, so it's your money, it's your ID or passport, and there's a form that we're going to fill in. The fourth document that you need is going to be a copy of your a bank statement or a bank letter, any bank document that shows your name as that which is on your ID and on your form. Those three things need to tie up. So you need a Visa account. For those that have already said that they're in Zimbabwe, you need a Visa account from Stanbic, Standard Chartered, NMB, Nedbank, First Capital, or CABS. Any other Visa account will not work. Why are the other Visa accounts, like for example, Bank ABC or Omari and all of those Old Mutual? It's because Forever has struggled to send money to those accounts because there are certain bonuses that are paid to you should you decide to really do your business well. And also, if you're doing your business internationally, for example, if you make a sale in the UK, the person that is going to purchase in the UK pays full price. The system is going to recognize that this sale is actually for Vimbai. So Vimbai needs to receive 30% of this amount. So that money needs to have somewhere to go to. That's why you need a Visa account. So without a Visa account, they can't register you. If you do not have a Visa account, let me know, then we can assist you to get one, but you definitely need to get one. So that is how you get started in the business. I hope that I am clear. If I'm clear, please let me know in the chat. So you might be asking yourself to say, who are your customers? Everybody that wants to lose weight, people that love their skin, people that want their family to be okay. And we've already spoken about social media. If you have any of these social media pages, definitely your business is going to go well. So I know that we are so used to traditional businesses where you open a shop, you need to be there for your business to, then put your products there for you to sell, and someone needs to walk around to find you. Yes, that traditional business theory is okay, but it's very limiting. That is the reason why there's no need for you to do that. Social media is enough because nowadays people go online first before they physically go out of their houses to go and find what they're looking for. So people go online first to check, to say, okay, I want to buy a dining table. Where am I going to get it? How much is it? Once they're ready, then they will leave to go and get it. So you need to be online. So if Bill Gates said, if your business is not on the internet, then your business will be out of business, which is very true because people don't do these things anymore where they just walk around to see what is it that I can find, unless you're selling something that is $1, $2. But I mean, how many of those people are you going to have? And we are talking about making enough money for you to be able to and really be able to achieve big things, right? So you find that, for example, we're going to teach you how we do the business. So you might be saying, you know what, yes, I have Facebook, yes, I've got Instagram, but I don't even have any following. I'm not a socialite. I do not like social media. You don't have to like or, do all those things. You just need to understand the basics that are going to be required from you for your business to be able to work. So, for example, I opened a new Instagram page for my business. It only has less than, 300 followers. That's mostly family and friends that are following me, right? But there's ways for you to be able to do your business. And you find that, for example, I really don't do much. I just use my products. And by me using my product, you become your own brand. So you don't need to even explain much. There's a person that said to me, I always see you drinking this thing. I also want it. Just that. And then they paid 115 US dollars because they saw me drinking something they didn't understand. So you just need to put yourself out there. So you'll find that, for example, I've even put a screenshot of all the messages that came from my social media directly to my WhatsApp. Will teach you how to do that, and will teach you exactly how to get your target market. If you're asking yourself to say, is this going to work for me? This lady here called Ruth. Ruth is based in Harare. She qualified to be a supervisor, and you know that she's one of our top retailers in the business, and she's doing very, very well. She's a mom. She's doing the business part-time. I'm pretty sure now she's driving going home, and she's still in this meeting as well. So if you're asking yourself to say, can you do this? You absolutely can. She also qualified to come for a South Africa trip, to come for a success day to celebrate her. Right, this is her in the blue dress here with myself in the middle and the CEO of Forever. So if you're asking yourself to say, can I do this business? Is it something that is doable? Here is someone that is actually doing the business in the same environment as you, and she's doing so well. And also, this is just proof to show that the weight loss products also work. This lady, her name is Heather. She is from Harare, and she actually she had a heart condition, and she decided to use the products, the cardio health products that we have. The products worked very, very well for her. And after she started using the products and she saw the impact the products had on her, she then decided to actually become a distributor. She's managed to travel. This is Heather in, there was also Tanzania, Dubai. We also have India here as well. And she also managed to purchase her own first car in the first 3 months using her sales. So the reason why I shared with you about sales is because it is something that you are able to implement tomorrow and start making money on a day-to-day basis immediately. It's not something that is in the future, right? So if you're asking yourself to say, what is it that you can do? We use the products, we share the benefits of the products. And if you decide to say, Forever is a network marketing business as well. So if you decide to say, I want to tap into the network marketing business of it, you can do that. We will train you. There's also other Forever incentives like Forever to Drive that you can go for. Personally, I managed to purchase a vehicle without the incentive from Forever by me putting aside my money from sales. So these are some of the people that have managed to purchase their own vehicles through the business. And the question is, what is it that you want for yourself? What is it that drives you? What is it that motivates you? This is Mercy. This is Mercy. This is my first car that I managed to purchase in the month of March 2026. It was one of my goals this year for me to purchase a car. And, through the business, I managed to do this. This is the reason why I was even wearing my collagen t-shirt. Right now, I have one Airbnb business as well that I'm doing, that I started using the money from Forever. That was my goal for 2025. And then the car was 2026. Now, because I've done the car for the rest of the year, I'm saving money for a second Airbnb through the business, because obviously I understand that I'm sharing about Forever with you today. I know that it is not your dream business. I know it is not what you woke up today thinking, this is what I'm going to do. You might be there and just saying to yourself, selling is difficult, I don't want to do this. It's absolutely fine. I personally also did not want to sell. I did not see myself as a salesperson. I went to school to become a scientist, not to become a sales woman. But I also knew the fact that it doesn't help living yourself in a shell if it's not going to give you anything that you actually desire. The life that we want requires us to step out of our comfort zone and use this platform, this opportunity that we have now as a step ladder for you to achieve what you want for yourself. If you don't want to say, I want a house, you can decide to say that I want to go into property. For example, I can share that Ruth is someone that is very obsessed with building. She's building another house right now. I always laugh at her to say whenever she makes sales, we don't see it because all her money is just bricks. It goes into bricks. So you can decide to say that is what you want to do. If you're someone that says, I love traveling, there's, Forever pays for, there's incentives in Forever that you can go for, that you can qualify for. This was the Rock the Boat experience. These are all people in Unstoppable Global. Right? So these are not people that are going to be far from you. These are people that you're going to have close to you. And for those that say that they're in Zimbabwe, the picture on the right, that I'm zooming in on, the lady in orange, her name is Gwen Nika. She's from Zimbabwe. She traveled with her sister Tariro, right? So you can decide to say, I want to do the business, and whatever it is that you decide to do, it is absolutely doable. Most of these people, some of them are single parents, some of them are married, some of them are professionals. There's one lady that is here that is a medical doctor, and she decided to do the business full time. My personal sponsor is a computer science engineer, and she decided to do the business full time as well. And, she is doing so much. So if all these people can do it, absolutely you can do it as well. There's absolutely nothing special about anyone here. There's nothing special about me. There's nothing special about anyone, but you just have to know what it is that you want. And or you're also able to travel with your family members, should you decide to do that. So I know that you might be here and you're, feeling scared and you're like, where am I going to get the capital money? I understand that. But we also need to also look at the reality of the fact that which other business opportunity do we have where you can start with $240, where you can start with $400 and be able to achieve so much, be able to achieve, to clear debts, be able to say, I'm going to get my next house from this. Which other business? So I hope that today, I understand that you might be thinking to say it's not going to be easy. Yes, there's nothing easy, in life, especially as an adult, but you need to choose your hardships wisely. The same way that being a business owner is not easy, borrowing money daily and job hunting and always living below your means and also above your means, and also living hand to mouth, and also not living the life that you want, because no one is going to come and change that for you. You have to stand up because you have the ability to do it. So if you are worried about the cost of going for it now, then you should see the price of staying exactly where you are. And this is something that I'm very, very, passionate about, because, I'm one person that it really touches my heart. Because, for example, I always ask myself to say, my mother was very hardworking. If she had received the same business opportunity that I have now, she would have done so well. And if she would have done so well, my life would have turned out differently as well. Everybody's life would have turned out differently. So you need to ask yourself to say, what is it that I'm doing today that is going to contribute to a better tomorrow for me? Does it sound too good to be true? Absolutely. I know it does, but it's very doable. It's absolutely doable. And I know that with, time and effort that is required, if you're willing to be part of a dynamic team, be prepared for change, you can absolutely do it. So there is no registration fee, there's no joining fee, there's no monthly fee. You just need to get your capital, get your first stock, and that will also get you activated in the system. And then you can be able to start your business. As long as you're willing to take it seriously, put in some time and effort, then you will be able to do it. So I understand that, for example, when I started the business, I had so much fear. I was scared before I started the business. After I started the business, I was scared again. And I asked myself to say, Natasha, what have you gotten yourself into? Are you sure you can do this? But I want you to choose differently, right? Because fear can be forget everything and run, But unfortunately, sometimes you might be running away from an opportunity and running towards a worse scenario. When I started the business, I didn't even know that there were going to be cuts in the previous company that I was in. I didn't know. But the business carried me over into the next phase of my life. So you need to really face everything. I pray that today you choose to face everything and rise above your fears and say to yourself, because you might be thinking to say, you might be like me to say, what, I'm shy, people are going to, because personally, for example, everybody knew that I grew up selling on the street. We were selling tomatoes. So me coming back and saying I'm selling aloe vera, I felt like maybe people will look at me and judge me and think I'm going backwards in life. But you also need to be very realistic and understand that it's a different opportunity. It's a different time. And also the same people that might be judging you or that you might be scared of or shy of are not going to come tomorrow and offer you, an extra, $1,000. There's a girl that leveled up in her business. She started recently. She's in Harare, and she managed to sell what we call 10 case credits, and that is over $3,000. And this is someone that is not employed. We can say she's not employed, but to be fair, she is really making more money than other people, managers that are actually fully employed, with including their benefits of that particular one. She's managing to make more. right? So putting the ego aside, putting society aside, putting guilt aside, putting relatives, friends, rejection, and past failures aside, I really want you to go after your goals. I am not trying to convince you to start the business. Whether you start the business or not, the business goes on. We've been doing the business. We are doing the business. We are going to continue doing the business. But tonight is about you. It's about you deciding to say what is it that you want. And I want to say the same God who brought you here, the same God who brought you the business that you're today will give you the clients. So you don't have to worry about how. You just need to think about what it is that you want for yourself. And with that, I want to say welcome to our business, welcome to our family, and welcome to a community that is building a legacy. And we look forward to building a legacy with you. I hope that I added value to you tonight. I hope that I managed to bring some insight to you, and I am going to